And with that, she's gone. That's right, folks, patch 1.4 for ZZZ is over, and we're now on patch 1.5, the first one in the game's history that will feature 4 special banners, with patch 1.5 bringing us the new S-rank ether support Astra Yao, running alongside fan favorite Ellen Jo, followed up by her bodyguard Evelyn, alongside Chingy for the later half of the patch. At least that later part will run for 4 weeks, so that's a nice little bonus to give you extra time for Evelyn or Chingy, depending on your account. Now, Astra has just dropped, and we got a good glimpse of her and Evelyn's gameplay in the 1.5 story, but looking forward for ZZZ, and to patches 1.6 and beyond, we don't really know what to expect going forward for the game, at least at the time I'm recording this. There hasn't been any drip marketing hyping up the next patch like we'd have seen by now based on previous patches, so what gives? Well, dear viewer, as a man who stopped playing in 1.3 the moment I got Yanagi, and saw Lighter and had zero interest in him as I failed to get Bernice, I knew that if the hype for Miyabi was good enough, then I'd be ready to come back if she was worth it. And boy was she worth it. Zhu Yuan, Jane Doe, those characters weren't enough to keep me going. But Hoshimi Miyabi? That's a different kind of woman. From day 1 of ZZZ, okay, it was more like day 7 for me, but on launch, when you got to that mission in the outpost, where you see the thing that we don't fight anymore because TV mode sucked as a weekly, we had this cutscene where not just Miyabi, but all of Section 6 was glazed harder than those double glazed donuts from that one episode of regular show. Although it was mostly Miyabi getting shown off here. We knew that one day, this power would be ours, and it was what kept us in anticipation for her banner. Now, it's gone, and we had our chance to get her, and she did have an enjoyable story arc, as we could say the payoff was certainly worth it. I had some of my friends saying this was probably the best half-year event Hoyoverse has ever done for the game, so sounds like a win to me. Everyone came together for a good first hurrah, and we have some questions that we'll want answered for the future, which is leading us into good stuff. But now I want to ask the question that some people like me are probably having, as ZZ is most likely not your first gacha game. We're all veterans at this point, let's be honest with ourselves. So I have to ask, and you should be asking yourself as well, what is keeping me to this game? The honeymoon hype is past, so what's left for me going forward here? 1.5 story left some crumbs for what the conflict for the rest of the patch could be, but it didn't leave a whole lot to work with, as we still don't know anything about Hugo Vlad, which we have so little to work with that we don't even know what patch he'll be in at this point. So what is beyond 1.5 is the difficult position that I think ZZZ is in right now. It made so much money from Miyabi's banner. There was almost like a second launch happened for the game, but what can it do to replicate the success? And if you came back for Miyabi like I did, why should we be sticking around then? Well, here's my take on that, as I feel like this question is being ignored, either by people who are just still in that honeymoon period with Miyabi, or people who have moved on to either Astra or Evelyn as they're waiting for Evelyn, or are going whole hog on trying to get Astra for whatever high-level comp teams there are. So let me put my account into perspective for you so you know what position I'm coming from and what my thoughts are. Like I said earlier, I played since day 1, okay, more like day 4, but same difference. Although after patch 1.1, I didn't really keep up with my dailies as I just played whenever I felt like it, as the game was in its early stages, so I knew that whatever free characters I got would sustain me for the time being. I will say that I am currently still a free-to-play player, although you would absolutely not be able to tell with my account, as I lost a 50-50 on Zhu Yuan's banner to Soldier 11, but then ripped another 10 pull and immediately got the caked up cop, so that was insane. When I pulled for Jane Doe, I lost that 50-50 with Grace, but I also got her in the exact same 10 pull, so yeah, I'm goated with it. However, my luck had to come to an end as I got Lycon instead of Bernice, which did set me up nicely to guarantee Yanagi, and I was lucky enough to snag Miyabi on the 50-50, and after doing some research, I decided to pull for Miyabi's Wenjin, and managed to get it, and yeah, that was a really good idea. My standard banner pulls got me Arena at 50, and I also managed to get both her and Lycon's Wenjins, so my account looks pretty good once I have everyone finalized and built. I'm still kind of working on characters as you can see here, but I have a pretty cracked account, all things considered, for my free-to-play status. Now, with this insane luck in mind and my account looking more like a Dolphin account, you can see the obvious team comps I have built. Miyabi, Yanagi, and currently Sokaku make up one team, and I'm pretty sure I can replace Sokaku with Rina once I get my free 300 pulls on standard banner, as she'll be M1 at that point and provide some crazy buffs, while my second team is currently Zhu Yuan with M6 Ambi and Nicole, who I got fairly early on. And then if I were to have a third team, it would be Jane Doe with Grace, and currently Rena sits on that team because I built my Jane to not need Seth, as I do not want to use the Catboy, I want to use my S ranks. Which is where I think I should guide my account now, as I attempted to pull on the Astra Yao banner yesterday, and I got fucked. So, with a new M1 Lycon on my account, I'm now kind of lost. I know that Lycon is good, but there isn't really a good spot for him on my teams, as his niche is mostly for Ellen, so I guess I could run Miyabi, Yanagi, and Lycon, but that's so unnecessary. I could try to run it with Zhu Yuan, but I wanted to go for Chingy to buff her further, and that is just her best stunner. Now that I've lost my 50-50 on Astra, I don't know if I should be scrambling to get pulls for her, or if I should just save it for Chingy and get Zhu Yuan's M1 on her inevitable rerun in 1.6, or maybe they push it down to 1.7 or even 1.8. I don't think Hoyo wants to mess with the established team comps that they have, as I feel like a lot of players are in this similar situation to me, with the specific teams I just laid out here as their core focuses. They know that Zhu Yuan and Bernice are stupid popular, and I don't really think they'll be replacing them anytime soon, as Jane already works great with Bernice, and they are rerunning Chingy for people like me, who had to skip her initially, but really want that Zhu Yuan buff, which leads me to think that Zhu Yuan is getting a rerun soon, or that they won't really be providing any ether attackers to replace her soon. If they do, oh boy, that's going to be a whole mess for them. Astra's support is wholly unnecessary right now with the state of the game. She's not really needed for anomaly teams, so maybe she could work with Jane Doe for me, but I think you see where the problem is. Besides my stupidity. Although, please, berate me in the comments and give me advice. I have no pride in anything here in my account, so I'm totally open to feedback. So please tell me exactly what the fuck I'm doing wrong, aside from, you know, the drive disc. I know there's problems there, but that's also because I hate artifact grinding. Anyways, ultimately what I think the current issue for Hoyoverse right now is finding a way to appease people like me who are happy with their teams but are looking for ways to upgrade them while simultaneously providing new upgrades or new team compositions for characters that we haven't really seen established yet. We can see they are attempting this with Astra and Evelyn, as we don't have any real ether support beyond Nicole, and what they do is kind of different, whereas Astra is probably pretty good for Zhu Yuan, but Nicole is honestly just the better support, with the difference between the two of them being so minor, and it's so much easier to build up Nicole in comparison. Whereas with Evelyn, she's replacing Soldier 11 as being the new fire attacker, so we have to deal with the potential team comps that could run with that. We are currently in an anomaly metagame right now with just how many anomaly characters we have, as we literally have everything except ether right now. But when it comes to attackers, we do have that niche filled out as well, with everyone, even ether, having one. However, the team comps aren't as dedicated. I mean, look at how much people are talking about Miyabi, and how not a damn soul is talking about Harumasa. Seriously, they gave him to us for free because they knew most of us were not going to be pulling for him. But for the people who were going to pull for him, that was a nice little bonus for them, and even then, I don't really see anyone going on about his optimal teams. So I think these buffs are needed, with a shift potentially being put onto Harumasa and Evelyn, and figuring out how they can best boost that damage up in order to promote these characters. And I have to wonder if this is really the right move, as what they're doing right now is the simultaneous releases with these banners to provide buffs to me, while also providing people new shiny characters that they can get attached to. However, I don't think this will ultimately be successful. They really need to hit us with something incredibly impressive, or build up, I guess, the next Miyabi, in order for people like me to want to stick around. At this point, I think I've kind of talked myself out of missing out on Astra as kind of just cope, and that way I can focus on getting Chingy on the next part of this patch, so that I can build up my Zhu Yuan team better. And ultimately, that's going to be what I'd have to do in order to keep playing this game, but I think it all depends on your account. If you're comfortable with your teams and want to build them up, this is the type of path you'll have to take in order to keep playing this game. But if you're already into Hoyo games, then I don't think you have to worry too much about your teams beyond Miyabi, as I have to believe that they'd have a decent enough lineup to set up new team compositions that just aren't in the game at the moment that we can't really comprehend. Maybe they even introduce some new type of agent or something beyond support, attacker, stunner, and those types of things. I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments, and let me know where your accounts are, and please, give me any feedback from the stuff you saw me do here. I really need any help I can get. So thank you all so much for watching, and I don't know, this video does well enough, maybe I'll do more ZZZ stuff in the future and talk about if I decide to leave or if I stay or where I'll end up going with this. Alright, I will hopefully see you guys next time, as I'm gonna get a bat here as I'm going to MagFest soon, so gotta get ready. Peace.